I paid $230,000 for my condo. Let my brother live here rent-free for a year, and he spent $1,200 on hardwood floors. At Mom's birthday, she announced, "We're giving him the house. He earned it." Dad smirked. "This is how you earn my respect, son." I said, "Perfect." By midnight, the floors were removed, and movers packed his room. 6 a.m., 53 missed calls, group chat melting down, and one photo that made them all go silent. "You know what's funny?" my sister Danielle said, raising her champagne glass with a smirk. "The deed was a mistake. That house actually belongs to us, not you." The room froze. We were at our baby shower. Friends, family, co-workers. Balloons, soft music, charcuterie boards with tiny toothpicks. My wife, heavily pregnant and glowing. Everyone staring. Danielle's voice rang out, smooth and deliberate, as if she was giving a toast. "Just a small legal mix-up. We're working on correcting it. Don't worry, Mom, and I will be moving in right after the baby's born." She clinked her glass with a fake smile and sipped her drink like she'd just announced a new brunch spot. Not that she was planning to hijack our home. Mom nodded beside her like some smug royal advisor. "It'll be good for the baby," she added. "You'll need help anyway. And that house was never really yours." I should have lost it right there. Flipped the table, shouted, stormed out. But just then my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Don't react. They're recording you." That was the only thing that stopped me from snapping. I looked over, and sure enough, Uncle Richard had his phone half hidden, camera pointed right at me. My cousin Eva, too. Recording. Just waiting for me to explode and prove their narrative. That I was unstable, dramatic, unfit to raise a child. So I smiled. Tight, polite. The kind of smile that hides war. Then I stood up, walked to the back of the room, pulled out my phone, logged into the smart lock app for the house, and changed the access codes. Danielle and Mom wouldn't be getting back in. Not today. Not ever again. And then I made one more move. One text. One legal form. One final act that turned the whole thing upside down. By midnight, I had 64 missed calls. My name's Nathan. I'm 33. And if you'd asked me a year ago, I would have told you everything was finally coming together. I worked in logistics. Solid income. Almost finished paying off the mortgage. We were expecting our first child after years of trying. Surgeries, hormone cycles, specialists. 3 years of heartbreak and hope. Then finally, 2 pink lines. Best morning of my life. The house they were trying to claim at the baby shower? I bought it before I even met Mia. Old duplex, needed work. I poured my weekends into it. But I made one mistake. I put my mom on the deed as a co-owner. At the time, the bank wanted an extra signature to approve the loan, and she swore it was just paperwork. Her exact words were, "This is just to help you, sweetheart." I'd never interfere. I believed her, because back then, I didn't understand what she was capable of. From the moment I introduced Mia, it started. "She's a bit cold," my mom said the first time we left at dinner early. "She doesn't feel like family," Danielle added. Like my life was a family committee decision and Mia failed the vote. I tried to keep peace, limited the visits, kept things cordial. But when Mia got pregnant, I thought maybe it was time to let them in again. I mean, it's their grandchild. Big mistake. Suddenly, my mom and sister were around a lot, just helping. Danielle would show up with random baby items we never asked for. Pacifiers, clothes in the wrong size, a used breast pump that made Mia visibly uncomfortable. "She's not even showing yet," Danielle said once, standing in our kitchen like she owned the place. "Is she even eating right?" Mia just smiled and changed the subject, but I saw her eyes. Then my mom started pushing harder. I was thinking, she told me one afternoon while Mia was resting, "I should stay with you guys after the birth. A few weeks, just until you both get the hang of things. Babies need strong female support." "No," I said, calmly but firmly. "Thanks, but Mia and I talked about this. We want to figure things out on our own." She paused, then smiled that tight, passive-aggressive smile. "Of course, if that's what she wants." The air in the room changed. That was the moment I realized she blamed Mia for everything. For the boundaries, for the distance, for me not being her little boy anymore. It got worse. Mia told me my mom had started dropping hints, that she'd mentioned how technically her name was still on the house, that if anything ever happened, she'd have a say. I confronted her. "Mom, you said this was just a formality. Why are you even bringing it up?" She gave me that tone, the one I've heard since I was a kid. That disappointed, condescending tone. Well, honey, it's not about control. It's about security. You're a new dad. You can't possibly handle everything on your own. And frankly, I don't feel like I can trust her. I stood there speechless. Trust her? My wife. The woman who'd gone through years of hell to carry this baby? Then Danielle got involved. We've been talking, she said one night after inviting herself over. And we think it might be time to adjust some things. You've got this whole house, and Mom and I are just trying to make sure it's used in a way that makes sense. Adjust what exactly? Well, she said casually, maybe Mom and I move into the upstairs unit. It's just sitting there. You can take the downstairs. It'd be easier for the baby too. More help around. More hands. I laughed. I thought she was joking. She wasn't. That's when Mia had enough. She told me straight up, if you don't set boundaries now, they're going to walk all over both of us. I won't raise our child like this. I agreed. So I told them no. Again. Politely, but clearly. That's when they turned. Danielle started acting cold, then passive-aggressive. Made snide comments at family dinners. You know, most women would kill for free help, she said once, sipping her wine and glancing at Mia. Mom stopped talking to Mia entirely. And then, the kicker. A week before the baby shower, I got a message from my mom's lawyer, something about clarifying ownership of the property and ensuring her rights and interests were protected. I didn't even tell Mia. I knew she'd flip, but I started feeling something shift in me. They were setting something up. I could feel it. And still, I never expected what happened at the baby shower. The moment Danielle made that announcement, that house actually belongs to us, everything clicked. This wasn't just emotional manipulation anymore. This was a move. A play. And Mom, she backed it instantly. We're moving in right after the baby's born, she said, like it was already decided. Then that text came through. Don't react. They're recording you. It all made sense. The lawyer. The weird comments. The tension. They seemed to be waiting for a reaction they could use against me. To look unstable. So they could claim I was unfit. Use it in court. Maybe even try to take custody. Of my own child. So I smiled. I logged into the smart lock system and revoked all their access. Mom's. Danielle's. Everyone's. Changed the codes. Disabled their key fobs. Then I made one more move. And by midnight, my phone lit up with 64 missed calls. I woke up at 6:13 a.m. to the buzzing of my phone. Another 17 missed calls. That made it 81 in total. Mom, Danielle, Aunt Nora, even a number saved as family lawyer. Mia was still asleep. Peaceful. I got up, walked to the kitchen, and called my mom. She answered on the first ring. What is going on? She snapped before I could say a word. Did you seriously lock us out? You announced at our baby shower that you were moving in. I'm just making sure that doesn't happen, I said flatly. You don't get to make decisions like this alone, Nathan, she shot back. We're family. We have rights. I'm on the deed. Yeah, from 10 years ago. I was a broke kid who needed a cosigner. That doesn't mean you own my house. We've helped in our own way, Danielle chimed in. I hadn't even noticed she was on the call. We've been part of your life. We've supported you. You've manipulated me. You've tried to control everything since the day Mia got pregnant. Mom cut back in. We just want what's best for the baby. No, you want control. You think slapping your name on a deed gives you authority over my life. It doesn't. There was a pause. Then Mom's tone dropped into that slow, threatening register she used when she wanted to guilt me into folding. If you go down this road, you'll regret it. Don't do something you can't undo. That's when I knew this wasn't about love. This was about power. I'm not undoing anything. If you want to talk, do it through lawyers. You're not setting foot near this house. I ended the call. My heart was pounding, but I felt oddly calm, like a weight had lifted. That peace didn't last long. By 10 a.m., a Facebook post from my mom had gone up. It's heartbreaking when your own child turns on you at the most sacred time in life. After everything you've done for them. The lies people spread to justify cruelty, shameful. The comments started pouring in. Danielle posted a crying emoji and commented, "You deserve better, Mom." My cousin Jessica, "I'm so sorry. You've always been such a loving mother." Someone else added, "Don't worry. Truth always wins." Truth? These people didn't even know the truth. I didn't respond. I didn't even tell Mia. Not yet. She didn't need more stress. She was 34 weeks pregnant and just starting to sleep better. But then around noon, we got a knock at the door. It was my Uncle Greg, Mom's brother. He looked uncomfortable, holding a pie in a foil pan like this was some holiday visit. "Hey man," he said, "mind if we talk?" I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. He sighed. "Look, I don't want to get in the middle, but your mom's a wreck. Danielle too. They're saying you've gone off the rails." "Greg, did you come here because they sent you?" "No," he said, "but your mom called me crying this morning. Said you were kicking them out, that you changed the locks." "I didn't kick anyone out. They never lived here. They tried to publicly claim our home. At a baby shower. What would you have done?" He didn't answer. "They think because her name's on the deed that they can just waltz in and run things. But she's never made a single payment. Never helped with anything. Now they want to move in to help. But it's not help. It's control." Greg rubbed his jaw. "Honestly, you're not wrong. But you know how your mom is. Once she feels attacked." "I didn't attack her. I set a boundary. She didn't like it." He nodded slowly. "I'll talk to her. Maybe cool things down." I thanked him, but I knew it wouldn't matter. Because that night, the real blow came. Around 8:30 p.m., I got an email from a law office. Attached was a formal letter from my mother's lawyer demanding mediation over the property dispute. She was trying to claim partial ownership of the house, and she wanted access reinstated. Then came the kicker. They were threatening to sue for grandparent visitation rights, preemptively. My jaw clenched so hard it hurt. They were gearing up for a legal battle. Before the baby was even born, I showed Mia. She went pale. "This is insane," she whispered. "They might even try to interfere with how we raise him." "They're going to try," I said, "but they won't win." I spent the rest of that night on the phone with an attorney. We had legal documents drafted that same night. The next morning, I filed a motion to remove Mom from the deed entirely, citing financial abandonment and unilateral home maintenance. We had years of receipts, mortgage statements, property taxes, repairs, all paid by me, not a dime from them. I also filed a cease and desist for harassment. Then I made one last move. I sent Mom and Danielle a copy of the motion. No message, no explanation, just facts. I didn't hear back from them that day. But by midnight, I had 64 new missed calls. And I knew I'd finally taken back control. Mia gave birth 3 weeks after the baby shower mess. A boy, Liam, 6 pounds, 10 ounces of screaming. Perfect proof that I didn't need help from anyone with the same last name as me. We didn't tell my family when it happened. Not a text, not a call, nothing on social media. I locked it down because I knew the second they found out, they'd turn it into their show again. And this time, I wasn't giving them a stage. 3 days later, while Mia was resting at home and Liam was finally down for his nap, an email arrived from my lawyer. Defendant has voluntarily dropped all claims to the property. No further legal action will be pursued. Status closed. Translation: my mother finally realized she didn't have a legal leg to stand on. All that noise about being on the deed, useless in court without a single documented financial contribution. Not one mortgage payment. Not one repair invoice. Not a single cent from her in 10 years. She folded. Hard. I expected a fight. A last stand. A guilt-soaked letter. Instead, silence. Which scared me more. Because people like her don't go quiet unless they're regrouping. And sure enough, 48 hours later, the internet lit up. Danielle posted a long, dramatic Facebook rant. Family is supposed to be forever. But some people would rather play power games than build bridges. We tried to be there. We were rejected. She attached a photo of an empty baby crib with the caption, "Should have been filled with love." Instead, filled with pride. Cringe. But it worked. The comments section exploded. "Aunt Cheryl, you guys don't deserve this." Some cousin I hadn't seen in 5 years. "Praying for your peace, Danielle." One of Mom's church friends. "Shame on those who forget the people who raised them." They were painting me as the villain. The unstable son who cut his family off for no reason. The bitter husband under his wife's control. Meanwhile, they were the poor, heartbroken saints just trying to help. Except I had proof. Documents. Audio messages. Screenshots. And I wasn't afraid to use them. So I posted one thing. Just one. A photo of Liam asleep on my chest. Caption: my only priority. No room for fake love, power plays, or guilt disguised as support. Family is earned. And I let the comments burn. Within 10 minutes, I got a text from Danielle. "Wow, so now you're playing the victim?" I didn't respond. She sent another. "You think this is over? You've destroyed our family." Still didn't respond. Then came the call from a blocked number. I let it ring. Then the voicemail came through. It was my mom, her voice shaking with rage. You're pushing me away just because I wanted to help? For loving you? You think your little family makes you untouchable? Keep hiding. But one day Liam's going to ask where his real family went. And I won't lie for you. She hung up. That voicemail stayed saved in my phone. Not for revenge. Not for proof. For the reminder. That woman didn't deserve access to my son. Ever. But the fallout wasn't over yet. 3 weeks later, I got a message on LinkedIn of all places from someone I'd never met. A woman named Natalie. Hi, Nathan. I work at the same nonprofit as your mom. Just wanted to say, I admire your boundaries. You're not alone. I messaged back, appreciate it. Can I ask, why now? Her response hit me like a freight train. She's been saying you're emotionally erratic or hard to deal with. Said Mia isolates you. That the baby was an accident and you're overwhelmed. But I've seen her talk to other women in the same manipulative way. I just wanted you to know, you're not the crazy one. That's when I realized it wasn't just family. My mother had been smearing me publicly, to anyone who'd listen, painting herself as the matriarch betrayed by her broken son. I wanted to scream, but instead, I tightened everything. Security system? Updated. Smart lock? New admin. Liam's daycare plan? Private. No relatives listed. No exceptions. I even had our pediatrician add a no information sharing with extended family note in our file. Meanwhile, Danielle kept running her mouth. Her posts got more desperate. Funny how some people weaponize fatherhood as a way to isolate others. Some wives manipulate in silence. But the damage screams. I ignored every single one. But then something strange happened. Jason, Danielle's husband, texted me out of nowhere. Can we talk? We met at a gas station parking lot at night. Like two guys planning a bank robbery. He looked like hell. Tired. Beat down. Hollowed out. I'm not picking sides, he said. But I just wanted to say, I get it now. I raised an eyebrow. She's been telling everyone that your wife's manipulative. That you're broken. But man, I live with her. And I've seen how this family works. It's toxic. Always has been. You did the right thing. I asked him, then why are you still there? He gave me a look I knew too well. The look of a man still hooked on guilt, still tangled in obligation. Kids. Mortgage. And I guess I'm not there yet. I nodded. You will be, I said. He just sighed. Before he left, he added, by the way, your mom's telling people you've cut off all ties because you're in therapy for anger. I laughed. Out loud. If I wasn't before, I might be now. Jason smirked. Let me know if you ever need someone to back up your side of the story. 2 days later, I got a handwritten card in the mail. No return address. Inside was a folded photo of me and Liam that I'd posted, and one line written in my mother's handwriting. One day, he'll see through you too. That's when I changed our last names. Not legally. Not yet. But on social media. In the daycare files. Even on Liam's personalized baby blanket. Because if he grows up thinking that legacy is worth preserving, they try to break us before we even began. And now, they're the ones shut out, watching through the window of a life they'll never be part of. It's been 9 months. Liam is crawling now, pulling up on furniture, laughing at things only he understands. And me? I'm finally breathing again. No missed calls. No fake apologies. No emotional landmines hiding in family group chats. Just silence. And I've never valued anything more. I think about the baby shower sometimes. The way they set me up. The glass raised. The camera aimed. The public ambush. That day was the line in the sand. And I'm glad it happened. Because it forced me to wake up. I used to believe family meant forever. That blood was enough. That loyalty was automatic. But now I know something different. Family isn't who claims you. It's who respects you. I grew up thinking I had to earn their love by paying for things, staying silent, playing the good son. But none of it was real. The moment I stopped feeding the machine, they turned. That's not love. That's leverage. I used to carry guilt like a second skin. Every boundary I tried to set came with hours of overthinking. Now, I say no and mean it. I've built a different kind of home now. Not just walls and locks. A mental home. Emotional safety. One where my son will never feel like love depends on obedience. I don't badmouth them to Liam. I won't poison his future with my past. But I'll tell him the truth. That love without respect isn't love. That manipulation disguised as help is still manipulation. And that protecting your peace doesn't make you selfish. It makes you a father. The craziest part? They still haven't apologized. Not once. Not for the lawsuit. Not for the lies. Not for trying to make me look unstable in front of my pregnant wife and half her friends. And I no longer need them to. Because the real closure isn't in an apology. It's in choosing not to need one. I know they're still watching. Through mutuals. Through fake accounts. Through whispered updates passed through cousins who mean well. Let them. They'll see a family that thrives without them. They'll see a boy growing up in a home built on respect, not fear. And they'll see me, finally free from the role they tried to cage me in. If you're reading this, and you feel like your own family has weaponized guilt against you, listen. You're not weak for stepping away. You're not heartless for protecting yourself. You're not the villain in their story just because you stopped playing the victim in yours. I used to think walking away meant failure. Now I know. It was the start of my freedom. And Liam? He'll never have to question whether he's loved. Because I did the work. I broke the cycle. I ended the performance. And I'll never let it restart. Not for anyone. 3 months later, I got a letter in the mail. Handwritten. No return address. Inside was a photo of my mom, standing in front of a rehab facility, holding a whiteboard with today's date on it. And below, just 5 words. I'm trying. For him. Please. No speech. No demands. No manipulation. Just that. I stared at it for a long time. And for the first time in nearly a year, I didn't feel angry. I just felt tired. I don't know if this is real, or if it's another performance. But I do know one thing. Forgiveness doesn't always mean reopening the door. Still, should I let her back in? Even just a little?